Welcome to Romance Happy Hour. We are super happy to have you here with us tonight. I'm Dylann Crush, and I'm here with my co-hostess, Dawn Luedecke, over there with the headphones on.
Yes, I'm in my little area.
It looks like you're like in a tiny house or something.
It's my closet.
Or you've grown extremely tall in the past week, Dawn. What happened?
No, I claimed the closet. It's not really a closet. It's like the understairs area.
Like a Harry Potter closet.
Yes, my Harry Potter closet. I'm turning it into a studio so I can do audiobooks from here. And excellent. I plan to have my husband do it. I'll see if I can wrangle him into the closet and like make him
promises.
Yeah, make him do the male version or the male POV. We'll see.
So that'll be two of you in the closet? Is that
no?
Basically.
I don't even think we can fit in here. Right? I don't know. He could barely fit. No, I'll just shove him in here. Looks like there's a lock on the door, so I'll lock him in.
And record my audiobook if you want to come out again.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Dawn has been promising our viewers that she's been going to have her husband come on our show and read scenes from her books for, I think we're going on almost 2 years. I don't know. Teresa has been watching us for that long. So Teresa probably tell us.
Well, I'm trying really hard. I really am. I'm trying.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a book in there too. If you lock your husband in the closet with you. But on another topic, we're here tonight with Lyz Kelley and Claudia Burgoa. So thanks for joining us. We're very excited to have you both here, and really looking forward to hearing what you have brought for us tonight. So thanks for being here on this crazy, I don't know if anyone else's kids started school this week, but I don't even know what day it is because my kids started on Wednesday, which normally they would start on Tuesday, the day after Labor Day. For some reason this year they started on Wednesday. So I spent all day today thinking it was Tuesday. I don't know. I feel like we just need to get to next week when we can get into having things more regular.
Yeah, that's how I feel. I've gotten 700 words written this week.
That's awesome. It's only Tuesday, Dawn.
It's only Tuesday. We should have 5,000 by now on Tuesday. Oh man, yeah.
So, what are you working on? What have you been up to the past 2 weeks since we were last on here?
Yeah. So my agent wants a cowboy book, so I am writing a cowboy book for her. Yes, I'm very excited. I've got 4 Scriveners open right now. The cowboy book, and then Rodeos and Redemption. I'm trying to plot that out. That's the last book in the the Laundry Ranch series. I had a brain fart.
The moment when Dawn forgets all the books she's ever written, right here.
Yeah. The last book in the Lone Tree Ranch series, Rodeos and Redemptions. So I'm got that open and plotting it out. And then I got 2 Lexa Jade things open. So
excellent.
Yeah. I'm in the cowboy mood. I am. I got to tell you, I live in the cowboy town, and I got to try to pull it up if I can find it. I took a picture of the marshal. This is my actual police station.
Oh, that's awesome.
I like it.
Wow. Just moved to Montana a couple weeks ago, or back to Montana, because you are from Montana, but have since lived all
elsewhere. Over. Yeah, all over. So yeah, now I actually live in like the quintessential cowboy town, and I'm super excited about it.
Awesome.
I love it.
Well, you need to be posting more pictures.
Yeah, I am. I got a bunch of TikToks and stuff, like all lined up, and I just haven't had time to send them. I mean, it's been so crazy. I spent 2 hours at the neighbor's house yesterday because both my neighbors are old ladies that love to read, and so like I had to make this
old ladies. Dawn, we are what can we say? Seasoned? Isn't that the right term? They're seasoned. Yeah. You have seasoned neighbors.
I have
As someone
seasoned
who's much
readers.
older than you, I would take offense to the word old girlfriend.
Well,
Yes.
they're in walkers.
Since
And
I'm probably the oldest one here, yes.
no, they're in walkers, and they're super cute. And so I made zucchini bread and brought
Aw.
it over. And
Well, if you're gonna make me zucchini bread, you can call me whatever you want.
okay,
Chocolate zucchini bread, right?
Even better.
what?
Even better.
No.
Gosh.
Oh,
Oh my gosh, give me that recipe.
yes, it's lovely.
I need that.
Chocolate zucchini bread, yes, it's lovely.
Yes. So I will post pictures. But what have you been? You're on this side on me. What have you been working on?
I started this week, so I turned in. I think last time we talked, I don't remember if I turned in my my next cowboy book. It's coming out, I think, next fall, and that's the first book in a new series, and that will be Cowboys at the Beach. So that's going to be fun. And then I just started, well, I kind of feel bad saying I just started it because I have a pre-order date set up for December 27th, but I'm well underway in the first whiskey book, the Whiskey Book series, and I'm looking forward to that one. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I did, if any of you have been watching my Facebook and other things, I've been doing a lot of whiskey research, which has been a real hardship. But, you know, the things we have to do as writers. So I'll be excited to get that out.
By the way, I went to Scotland and there's a historical whiskey society right there in Edinburgh. They will give you all your information you want about whiskey.
Ooh.
So there is, I mean, since I have, you know, dived in.
Definitely dove.
We're writers, right? We know these things. Since I have jumped in, thank you, to learning all about whiskey, I had to figure out like what kind of whiskey I was going to write about. And so I'm writing about American whiskey, and more specifically Tennessee whiskey, because the whiskey that's made in Tennessee, it actually, in order to be called Tennessee whiskey, it has to follow strict guidelines, and it has to go through this process called the Lincoln County process that I will not go into all of those details in my romance novels, I promise, but I had to know them so that I could make sure that it was authentic.
Yeah.
So, but yes, like I would be way too intimidated. I mean, American whiskey is intimidating enough, and that's only really been around since like the 1800s. Like, I don't even know that I want to try to learn about Scottish whiskey, and well, then it's Scotch, right? But craziness.
Oh,
That's what I've been up to.
I love apple and cherry flavored whiskey.
Yes.
Ooh, you should try
that would be a flavored whiskey, which I've learned you can't really call that a whiskey, because a whiskey would have no ingredients except for basically the grain and the yeast, and
So then how do you call it?
it's crazy. So, but
Frisky?
what? Frisky
So
whiskey?
what would you call him? Frisky?
Yeah, I mean,
That's my choice. Frisky. Well, I guess it wouldn't. There's no R, so fisky.
Fisky whiskey?
Fake whiskey is
Fake whiskey.
fake.
Sure.
Whiskey.
You could call it fisky. Claudia has just basically created a whole new
word.
branch of liquor sales for the entire American market.
We should start our own whiskey distillery and call it Frisky.
I don't think so.
Whiskey.
The thing with that is you won't know for a couple of years whether or not it's any good.
True.
So
Then we can write books in the meantime.
there we go. That's right. And we'll just have a little distilling hobby on the side.
Yeah.
Go to jail for that. That's called moonshine, and I think that's still
That's still a thing.
most places.
So definitely still a thing for sure.
Fisky, Amy, fisky.
I once tried to make a romance happy hour drink out of moonshine, and I was just like, oh no. Oh.
Well, there
I
are
gotta go get something else.
I made a drink out of moonshine.
Really? Was it as bad as mine?
No, it was like orange flavored moonshine. But anyways, all right, enough talk about alcohol.
Yes.
You would think that this was like, like romance happy hour or something. I want to hear from both of you. So Liz, welcome to Romance Happy Hour. We're so happy to have you joining us tonight. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you write and anything else that you want us to know. And by the way, I've already seen people have commented on your hair. They think that your hair looks super cute.
Thank you, everyone. Yeah, I write about everyday heroes, and I've written 2 series, the Elkridge series set in Elkridge, Colorado, and it is a little bit more spicy, and there's a thread of suspense in there, which is fun. It was sort of like Love Boat or the game of Clue, and where each book was sort of clues and it led to whodunit type of thing. So that was a really fun series to write. And I'm actually writing another book in that series. It's Mad Jack's book. Mad Jack owns that, the bar in town. And so I'm writing Jack's story, and that should be coming out either later this year or early next year. So that's going to be really fun. And then the other series that I write is sweet over 40 mature romances. And that's the Love Boat one, where everything is set at this beautiful, amazing resort in California with 4-star restaurants and spa and swimming pools and everything. Of course, it's a perfect place, vineyards for people to fall in love. And that's where my Sweet series is set. And that's what I was going to talk to you guys about today, because in this anthology, there's 22 of us that have come together, and you can see Heather Graham is the headliner on this. She's an amazing author. There's 22 other writers in this book, multiple USA Today, multiple New York Times bestsellers, and my book, which is, I don't know if you can see this. Can you see this at all?
Closer. I know it's hard on these screens.
Oh, there we go. Oh, there we go. Cute.
Yeah, so that is my book that's going in here, which is Sweet December. And the reason it's Sweet December is that I thought it would be fun if I had a hero and a heroine that made a pact in college that said, we'll never get married because we're so into our careers. Melissa Davenport is the first fighter pilot, female fighter pilot. And her college study buddy was wanting to work on the space shuttle at NASA. And they're like, we're so career driven, we'll never find anybody that'll marry us. And they made a pact that said, because they met for December 1st is both their birthdays. They said, if we're 50 and we haven't been married by the time we're 50, we'll get married. Guess what? December 1st is their 50th birthday. So what's going to happen? And that's the book that I've written. And that's the book I was going to read about.
Yay. That sounds so cute.
So that's the book. They're both turning 50. So it fits within my over 40 romance series. And yeah, so I'm going to try to read, because those that know me know that I'm dyslexic. So you're going to have to forgive me, but I'm going to try and get this done. So are we ready to read a little bit about this book?
We're going to let Claudia introduce herself first.
Oh, okay, we'll do that. No worries.
I know, you're like ready to get it over with.
I'm ready to get it over with. I've been practicing.
So nervous about reading. I know.
That's okay.
Yes, we're totally going to make you read. And we have the best viewers and listeners and everything. So, I mean, do not be self-conscious. Just don't read too fast is the only complaint we've ever had is people sometimes are so eager to get through it that they read so fast and then people can't hear what, they can't make out what you said.
And but some people are like, I think people are asking me why I have Boston's Red Sox behind me. I'm actually in Rhode Island right now. Most people know I live in Arizona, but I'm out in Rhode Island helping a friend. So that's why I have sort of a weird background going on behind me, because most people are like, where are you at? Like, all right.
She's in the closet. The dawn opened
like
up.
me.
I'm not in the closet, but
Just kidding.
I'm out. So let's get over to Claudia and hear what Claudia's up to.
Yay.
Claudia, welcome. Please introduce yourself and let us know what you write and what you've been up to and all that good stuff.
Okay. Hi, I'm Claudia. I write I write found families, billionaires, small towns. I love to write interconnected characters. So if you enter in one book, you will get to meet a lot of my characters, which is so much fun. All my series have families. And I don't know. I love think telenovelas, kind of, but a little more fun and less dramatic. I do love to write angst, though. I really, really love to write angst. Sometimes I go a little overboard, but I love that. Right now, I just finished writing my first book for the Luna Harbor series, which releases on October. I just released the last book for the Baker's Creek series. And I have a lot of things coming up next year, a lot, which I always have a lot of fun trying to get. One of the things that I love the most is building new towns, new small towns. But then I have people saying, "But can I move there?" No, sorry, they're not real. But yeah, I would love to move there because they're like the best places in the world. Like seriously, everything that you want is right there in the town. And people are friendly, which, let's be honest, you don't find out people friendly in every place. I mean, you have everything. So yeah, that's what I'm working on, and that's what I usually do.
Nice.
Well, and I think that's why a lot of people read small town romance. And, you know, like with Liz, with your resort that's got everything you would ever need, and the small towns that, you know, you get to basically make them. I don't know, when I'm building my small towns, it's like I take all the things that I've loved about all these little small towns, you know, different small towns, and then you put them all together.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
all, you know, you've got everything that you need right there. So, all right. Well, Liz, you are up. So
I'm up.
Are you ready now?
Sure,
or
I'm ready.
when they take a timeout right before, what do they call that? Icing the kicker? Oh my gosh, I can't even believe my husband would be so embarrassed right now if he heard me trying to relate something to a sports term. You know, where they take a timeout like right before the kicker's going to do his thing, and then he goes back and he's all cooled off and nervous and all that. So it wasn't like that, right? You ready?
I think I'm good.
Okay.
So yeah, are we ready?
I think we're ready. Do you need to set anything up for us? Or are you starting
Yeah,
on
I was going to set it up a little bit. So Melissa, like I said, Melissa Davenport is the heroine of this story, and she is a fighter pilot, and she is in Texas, and she's gotten a message from Brian asking her to come to this corporate event, of course, at the Silver Fox Resort, which is where I set my small town. So I'm bringing them in, and he's basically saying, hey, let's get engaged and let's do a trial run during this event. So what I'm reading here is basically she's already agreed. He's already reached out, already agreed to meet him. She's just flown her plane in and landed, because of course she can fly planes, and so she's landed her own private plane in the runway, and he's picking her up, and that's where this story, I'm jumping into the story, is going to be.
Okay, we will let you to it, and we'll be back when you're done.
Alrighty then. So here we go on reading a part of Sweet December. Ready. She shaded her eyes against the glare of the mid-morning sun, grateful for the warmth of her jacket. Central California was a few degrees cooler than Texas this time of year, and she knew the weather at the resort would be even chillier since it sat on the coast. In fact, she couldn't wait to check into the Silver Fox Resort for some self-care. It had been a long time since she had someone to talk to who wasn't military. The anticipation alone had lifted her mood. Mal! She whipped around to the right and spotted the silhouette of a tall, lean man. Even in the shadow of the terminal's overhang, she recognized the set of his shoulders and the lazy runner's lope that carried him closer while the sun glittered off his short gray hair and mirrored sunglasses. Her heart sped up to keep pace with her stride. Brian didn't bother with that awkward pause like the one that slowed her steps at the last minute. He caught her up in his arms, forcing her to drop her suitcase as he twirled her around. After a few dizzying spins, he set her back down and curled his hands over her shoulders, standing back a minute to examine her from head to toe. You look great. If I didn't know better, I'd never guessed you'd been battling cancer for the last year. As much as I'd like your hair long, you are absolutely rocking that short haircut. Relief shone in her blue eyes, and for the first time, Mal realized she hadn't been the only person affected by the frightening diagnosis. I'm fine. Her smile felt artificial, stretching her skin and pulling her mouth tight. The doctor said the odds of cancer returning were low, but he couldn't guarantee the future free from the threat. Most of the time, Melissa ignored the risk, but with Brian looking at her with his heart in his eyes, she knew she'd have to lay it out for him. It was one of the reasons, the main reason, holding her back from jumping into marriage with her whole heart and soul. She and Brian had made it through life this far without a spouse and done all right. But what if she accepted the proposal, allowed him to fall in love with her, and then had another go around with cancer? The next time might not end so well. Was it fair to him? It was a decision she'd have to allow him to make, but not today. She promised herself the weekend, 2.5 days to test the waters, 2 nights to reveal parts of herself she never shared with a man. She trembled at the thought, so she bent to retrieve her suitcase. I've got it. Brian leaned down and grabbed the handle before she could move. How was your flight? He glanced back at her pride and joy. I'm hoping one of these days you'll give me a ride. She started to turn, but he grabbed her hand, twining their fingers together. We can't now. I'm parked this way. It's an hour-plus drive to the resort, and I promise friends we'll meet them for lunch. But if you're hungry now, we can stop and pick up something light. Brian had always been a chatterbox, and she loved how his light banner filled the gap, stretching taut by her anxiety about this new arrangement. The tension weighing down her limbs eased, making her feel lighter, more lithe, more alive with energy. She let out a breath, even she hadn't known she was holding. I had juice and a nut bar over Arizona. I can wait. With her hand in Brian's, she crossed the jam-packed parking lot. Brian slowed periodically to greet a traveler, nodding and smiling and yakking away the entire time. So tell me, she tugged on his arm to get his attention. Why is it this thing we're going to is such a big deal? You seem nervous. That's not like you. Dylann, my company, is leading a car manufacturer in Japan. The sales are increasing in the U.S. thanks to their accelerated development of the vehicles that we use sustainable energy. The top guys are coming in to chat with the U.S. leadership team. So it's important. He clicked the car's remote, and the trunk on the sleek silver sedan popped open. Brian ran a hand lovingly over the curved lines of the quarter panel. This is one of the models I helped develop. Impressive, he chuckled. You'd say the same if I drove up in a Ford Fiesta. Admit it. The guy knew her too well. Melissa could rattle off the specs of mostly any jet, but cars, they were just a way to get from point A to B. If the equipment wasn't exceeding the speed of sound, she didn't really care. Brian stowed her luggage, closed her trunk, then settled his hand in the small of her back, escorting her to the passenger door. You're the co-pilot this time. Probably will feel a little odd. She twisted away, leaning against the door, meeting Brian's steady gaze. Thanks for the invite. She searched his eyes, wanting to understand why he had invited her. If she spotted even 1 ounce of sympathy, he'd get a tongue lashing. But what she saw was the soft longing, and it surprised her and heated her core. He rested the heel of one hand on the roof of the car, closing the space between them. Thanks for coming. He was going to kiss her, not a friendly peck like they'd shared in the past, but a real kiss, the kind a man and a woman shared when they're attracted to one another, when they have feelings for each other, when they're falling in love. Her lids fluttered shut, her mouth parted, and her chin lifted, waiting. I was saving this for the resort, but it feels like this might be the perfect time, Brian whispered, was followed by a brush of his mouth across hers. Open your eyes, Mel. He pulled something out of his pocket and leaned away so he could present his hand, palm up, a red velvet box cradled in his elegant fingers. I know it may be a bit premature, but I wanted you to know I'm serious. He gestured to the box with his chin. Fingers trembling, heart pumping, like she'd ejected from a jet headed towards the mountains, she took the box. Opening the hinged lid, she stared at the thin diamond-studded band next to the matching silicone ring. He'd done his homework. He'd kept the band's military simple. It was a ring she would have chosen for herself. Nothing fancy, but oh, so beautiful. Am I supposed to wear this now? Her attention zipped between the ring and his face. Try it on. Brian took the box and carefully wiggled the rings out of their white satin bed. Left hand, please. Complying, Melissa offered her ring finger, the surreal moment leaving her dizzy and dazed. Her sister rings fit perfectly. She examined the bands of stone, gleaming rich against the short, unpolished nails and unadorned fingers. The implications of accepting the ring, of maybe really accepting Brian's proposal, stole her breath. How could they make a long-distance marriage work? It was almost guaranteed that the Air Force would relocate her from Texas. She could land anywhere. Brian's job tied him to California. He'd worked his entire life for a job with this company. On the 1st of December, she and Brian would turn 50. That half-century mark meant they were set in their ways. Too old for children, in her opinion. Too young for front porch rocking chairs. What would life look like together? What would it mean for his career? What would it mean for hers? They poured everything into achieving their respective professional goals. But now what? And were those achievements worth risking if their marriage failed? If I have the same questions and doubt running through my mind too, Brian said, who knew her so well they didn't need words, rested his forehead against hers and nuzzled his nose into her hair and inhaled. Neither one of us is the type to run away from something because it might be hard or other people say it can't be done. Let's give you and me a try. Trying and doing are two different things, Brian. When you try, you hope. When you do, you succeed. She circled her arms round Brian's waist, listening to the heartbeat beneath her cheek. It felt good, right, like she belonged there. Not caring that they had a long drive along the beautiful California coast or that Brian's coworkers were gathering for an extensive retreat, Melissa listened to his strength. Finally, for the first time since her dad's death, she had someone to lean on. The cool breeze teased the end of her hair. Birds chirped. The airplane engines whined and then bellowed behind them. Brian smelled of soap, minty toothpaste, coffee, and a clean cotton shirt. And the smells saturated her dry, cracked heart. When it finally settled into a normal rhythm again, she dropped her arms. Brian waited expectantly. Let's do this. She rose up onto her tiptoes and kissed him like she wanted this engagement to work more than she wanted anything else in life. That's it. That's the story. So, yes, and I wanted to also say one of the things about this anthology, it's on pre-order now, and it is 99 cents. So you get 22 stories. Like I said, some amazing stories for 99 cents. And the reason it is so inexpensive is we are trying to hit the USA Today list. So if you want to help out an author, please go spend $1 on this book. Yes. So anyway, hopefully I did okay. I messed up, but
you did great.
You did
Okay.
amazing. I was actually going to say, I was going to try to be like the first one to talk and be like, you did so good reading. That was my goal, and I failed.
I've been practicing all week, so
you did so good.
No, you did a great job. And Linda says that sounds amazing. So
thanks, Linda.
we all love Linda. Linda's so encouraging, so positive.
Well, she's Canadian. They're super nice people.
That's true.
I'm married to a Canadian, so yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yay. No, I love the Canadians. They're so nice and polite all the time. Can I just ask Linda a question? Linda, do you ever get sassy?
Yes, she does.
Linda is totally sassy. What are you talking
I will answer that for you. Yes, she gets sassy. Yeah.
I don't know. I always see her so
She's
nice.
sassy. Love her.
So thanks for sharing that with us, Liz. And I was going to say, do we have any questions specifically to Liz's?
Not specifically.
I saw a couple general ones come through.
General, but not specific.
Okay. Do we want to answer a couple questions in between?
Sure, we can do the very first one. And Linda actually rocked that out of the park. She beat everybody to it, and she made it known. Getting the first question in, which character from your books was the most challenging to create and why?
Okay, great question. So I was really struggling trying to get Melissa correct because she is, there is a general who was the first fighter pilot in the military. And this story was sort of based on her. And then I thought, oh gosh, I'm going to need a lot of technical help. But guess what? Right around the corner from me lives a fighter pilot, and he was in the class that was right in front of the first female fighter pilot coming on board. So he personally knew sort of the person that I was loosely framing this on. Plus, I set Melissa's station in San Antonio at the Joint Force Air Force Base, and he could give me the smells and all of that so that I could really seed and this story well. So he fact checked all of my books. Plus, in this book, Melissa's flying her own plane, and I needed to make sure that this type of airplane could land on this runway. And so, like Dylan was talking about whiskey, we have to do our research. So I wanted to make sure that this airplane could land on this runway and that I knew all the timings were correct in the story. So he also knew a Southwest pilot that he called on the phone and said, dude, will this work? So I was really, really lucky in the fact that I had a technical expert that was right around the corner from me that I could tap into. So I was really, really thankful to have that technical expertise. So yes, it was challenging, but I really think I nailed it. So I'm really excited about it.
That's way cool. And can I say thank you for taking the time? Because as a former, as a vet, it drives me absolutely crazy when authors get it wrong. And they're just like proudly getting it wrong. And I love that you took the time to do all that. Yeah.
Well, and I made sure this time because I was one of my books is my dad is a Marine.
Yeah.
He's not here anymore. My brother was in the Navy, and I have a lot of military. But one of my editors changed because she thought I was using Marine too much. She changed Marine to a soldier in my book, and that is an absolute no-no.
Oh yeah, Marines don't like. Yeah.
No. So
Yeah.
luckily I'm self-published, so I was able to go back and change it. But I got raked over the coals, and rightly so, by a couple of people. But I was lucky enough to be able to change it because I was like, "Yep, you're absolutely right. My apologies." And I was able to go back and change it. So I'm really careful on edits now to make sure that things that are absolutely correct don't get changed.
That's awesome.
So,
okay.
How about you, Claudia?
Yeah. Well, let's put that back in.
Which character from your books was the most challenging to create and why?
From oh gosh. I don't know. Like, I always complicate my characters.
all of them. Is that what I'm hearing?
Oh yeah. All of them.
Whichever one you're writing right now is the most challenging.
What I'm writing right now, I'll like my currently my current work in progress. The hardest thing is a 7-year-old because it's hard to think about being 7 years old and how sassy you have to be. I seriously keep texting some readers that I know have younger children or friends. I'm like, will she be texting this? Can she be emailing this? Because it's kind of like, it's not a retelling of a Sleepless in Seattle, but it has a little tone to it.
Mm-hmm.
So this girl is calling the podcaster. I mean, I just want to make sure that what she's saying, it kind of makes sense. When she was younger, I kind of based it on my oldest because my oldest was talking at 8 months old and she was talking perfectly when she was 4. So I know that's okay. But then I'm like, at 7, I don't see her calling a podcast and saying all this about the mom. So I need to fact check that.
Yeah, and things nowadays with children are so much different than even when my older ones were younger or like we were younger. So yeah, definitely. That would be difficult. Yeah.
So that's my most challenging, and maybe that's the most challenging one I've written because it's a kid.
Yeah.
So and you can put yourself as a kid, and it's, as you say, it's not the same. It's so different.
Yeah.
Technology has changed children so much.
Yes.
Yes.
It's
Agreed. Yeah, I was going to say, not only would they call the podcaster, they'd probably like Snapchat them and send them a DM. They'd slide into their DMs and all that stuff.
Duo on Twitter.
Right.
Yeah, totally. I'm like, let's do a TikTok here. Yes.
Yeah. No, that's funny.
So yeah, that will be my most,
Great.
Any other ones, Dawn, or we want to get into?
I think we should get into the next one just because it's 7:42, but and then we can pop up some more.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. We told you this would go fast, right? Okay. I'm going to read for Claudia, but Claudia, you're going to set the scene for us, right?
Yes. So this book is finally due, the first book of Luna Harbor, the Luna Harbor series. Which, hold on, let me show you the cover, which is super hot. I call my covers. Hong Lee is the one that did the cover. So this is the cover.
Get it closer.
She wants to see how good looking he is.
Yeah, it's so weird on the. I know because everything is opposite on the when you're on the camera. Yes.
There it goes. That comes in.
We can see him now.
So that releases on October 12th. Is the first book of Luna Harbor. He is a drummer. He's also a special agent. And I know it sounds weird, but believe me, it makes sense when you read it. It totally makes sense when you read it. Every time I explain people, now they are musicians, but we're also special agents. They're like, oh my gosh. And then when they read the books, they're, oh my gosh, makes so much sense. It totally makes sense. So his grandfather is sick. He has prostate cancer. He is right now in Seattle, and he needs his family to take care of all the businesses in Luna Harbor. He owns half of the businesses in Luna Harbor. So all his grandchildren are coming to town. They are 5. Manelik, who's the one you're reading off, and then his twin sister, who's Mika, and then he has 3 other brothers. And then, of course, he's always with the band because they are a band of brothers. So the band is coming along. So it's going to be, like right now I have planned 8 books. We'll see. With me, it's always we'll see. We'll see. So this one is one of the scenes where he's kind of fighting with his it wasn't exactly a high school sweetheart, but they've been dating since they were in high school.
Okay.
And they've been friends since they were 4 years old. So they are like very connected, and then things happen between them, very tragic things. I'm telling you, I do a lot of drama, but it's like really cool drama. And now they're kind of like enemies to lovers and second chance. So it's a really fun thing. So I put fun things between the acts. So,
Awesome.
All right. Well, we will get to it. I won't make you sit up there on the screen with me and smile while I read.
Ask.
So I'm going to read, and then I'll bring you guys back up here after. So, okay, let me mute everybody. Okay, so I just got this not too long, so I've not practiced. I got this not too long before we went live, so I've not practiced this. So if I screw up, it's all on me. So we're reading chapter 16, Manelik. When I started training for the organization, I learned a lot, like know your enemy's weaknesses and use them to defeat them. It works with terrorists, drug cartels, and almost every kind of criminal we fight. It also works with ex-girlfriends. Begrudgingly, I agreed to cover for Xander. It's 11, and I'm going to bleep a lot because Claudia has a lot of loves to use the F-bomb. So, and I'm so effing glad that I accepted. Nydia is Miss Manners. Her grandparents taught her to be polite, kind to others, and never make a scene. Every time I walk to the Hostesses station, I lean close to her and whisper something in her ear. It's delightful to see her squirm, but not say a word because God forbid she behaves with anything but decorum in front of the town. Maybe that's one of the things I didn't like much about her. She cared too much about what others thought and cared too little about how that affected her. It's unsustainable to keep everyone happy, and she's still doing it. I don't mean any disrespect to Abe and Hattie, but they asked too much of her. She wasn't born in the 1950s. Nydia should be herself. Her grandparents are gone, dead. She should do whatever the F she wants without caring what the rest of the world thinks. As I walk toward the station, I notice a guy leaning against the hostess desk and smiling at her. We could do something after your shift is over, I hear him say as I approach. I groan and almost tell him to get the F out, but I don't because my brothers will beat the heck out of me. That doesn't say heck. Will beat the heck out of me. Would you like to be seated in the bar? We have space in there, I offer. Oh no, I'm just chatting with this lovely lady. I turn to look at my lovely lady and say, why don't you take a break? I can cover for you. She frowns. I just have a couple of hours before I have to leave. She's lying. She's scheduled to be here until we close. I lean closer to her and whisper in her ear. It'll help us both if you leave, or I might beat the heck out of this guy for looking at you like your little Red Riding Hood while he pretends to be the big bad wolf. I'm the only wolf that gets to eat you. She gasps, those big brown eyes open wider, and I'm so close to her I feel the heat of her body rise. The things we could do together. I shouldn't think about them. We won't do anything because I know what happens when I play with fire, with her fire. It burned me years ago. There were too many things happening that distracted me from the pain, but I know it'd kill me if I don't finish the thought. It's over. This is just a silly game to make her writhe while I'm in town, a game that I plan on winning. It might be a little payback to avenge the boy who died when she left him. Poor bastard, he died of a broken heart. You're out of your effing mind, Cantu, she says, and I can hear her teeth grinding. I don't know if it's anger, frustration, or the tension between us. I've been teasing her so much all effing night that she's about to burst into flames with need. I know I am. We might not know each other or love each other now, but we still have that same explosive chemistry we shared when she turned 16. Are we cussing, Miss Vega Knapp? Tisk, tisk, tisk. I shake my head, planting a kiss so close to the corner of her lips she almost jumps off the bar stool. You're naughty and I like it. I glare at the guy. Leave. The guy does as I say, and I offer again. Do you want to go on a break? No. You haven't eaten. I ate at home. I cross my arms. I don't believe you. She rolls her eyes, cups her face with her palms, and gasps in horror. Oh no, you don't believe me. What am I supposed to do? You're not funny. Either go and eat something before they close the kitchen, or I'll bring you something. Stop being a pain in the ass, Cantu. You haven't seen anything yet, I warn her. Go. Are you threatening me? Maybe, I say. Making your life a living hell might be my new favorite hobby. There isn't much to do in this town. She places her index finger in my sternum. I know hell. Nothing you do will compare to what I've lived. So try your best. Just know that for every hit I take, I'll punch twice as hard. Is it crazy that this side of her is making me hot? And the question is back. What happened to Nydia? Where's my sweet girl? Who the F is this woman? The scariest part is that I'm dying to get to know her, even if she destroys me during my attempt to tame her. That thought shakes me to the core. What the F is happening to me? It's like I'm becoming obsessed with her. I don't recognize my reactions. I don't get to know women. I don't pursue them. If I wanted to get laid, I could just head to Seattle, visit a bar, and have a fistful of women throw themselves at me. But I don't care to do it. No, I want to throw myself at this woman. As if I haven't had enough of my foolishness, I head to the kitchen. Fish is setting plates on the trays. I ask him, can someone get me an order of ultimate nachos, flautas, or something like that? Fish looks at me and shakes his head. Is that for little cutie pie? Stop trying to find her a nickname. She's Nydia. He grins. It is indeed for Ms. I don't care about her. I don't. Dude, I've known you all your life. You don't need to defend your actions. I bet you don't even know why you're behaving like a dog in heat when you're around her. It's funny and a little pathetic to look at you. I get it. You probably need to get something out of your system, and this is the time to move on. I'm not judging you. Also, don't expect to get much out of this unless you start doing it with a purpose. You have no idea what you're doing. He's right. I don't know the what or why of my behavior. I don't have a goal. What am I aiming for? I'll bring out something for her. No, I can do it. You're helping here. Sure, but she'll ignore it because it's coming from you. You're not the only idiot who's confused as F. She's trying not to care and having a hard time ignoring you. Yet, even if she's starving, she'll refuse to eat whatever you bring to her. I hate to agree with him, but he's right. Fine. In the meantime, I send a text to Sanford. Maine, can you bring me my bike and 2 helmets? San, I'm busy. Maine, playing video games with Beacon is not considered being busy. San, actually, I'm playing poker with him and his brothers. Maine, it won't take you long to drop it off and go back to your game. I'll owe you. San, consider it done. Ugh, I groan. This is going to cost me and is another big example of my stupid, pathetic, irrational behavior. I just can't effing help myself, can I? Instead of heading to the front of the restaurant, I go to the office to get a hold of myself. It doesn't help that the monitors are right in front of me and I can see her. How is it that I could live without her for years and right now I feel like I can't breathe if she's not around? I feel that pull between us. There's an imaginary thread drawing us back together. A cord that I thought broke long ago, but I'm guessing it's made of tungsten. The string is so strong that nothing, not even our past, is able to break it. Our souls, our hearts, and our bodies are still attached. We're still one. One soul, one heart, one beat. We're 2 parts of an entity that can't figure out why they got separated. We're 2 parts of something that hates itself but can still feel the ghost of an epic love. We're 2 parts that can't figure out how to be whole again. The closer we are to each other, the shorter the string becomes, and the closer it pulls us. The closer it pulls us, the more it confuses the F out of us because logic dictates that we should never be together. I hate to be close to her. I hate to be far from her. Yet I hate that I can't love her again. There we have it. Thank you, Ms. Claudia.
I love the ending. That's
Me too. I know.
good.
Sorry for the F's.
That's all right. I did my
I
best.
usually don't say them.
Well, no, you made me say them.
I don't know.
No, that was all right. I love that. I really want to read this book because yeah, that hero is definitely. I mean, you get that whole. I mean, he's like the alpha hole, but he's not the alpha hole because you can already tell, you know. And that was what I think, chapter 16. So.
Yes.
So yeah, you can tell what's in his heart, man. So
It's painful.
no, I really enjoyed reading that.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks so much for sharing it. And that book doesn't come out until October?
October 12th, but there's a prequel, which is not part of their story.
Okay.
Kander, his brother, has a prequel. It's a Happily for Now, and it's this book alone. Yeah, maybe it's you. Which is free right now in all retailers, like totally free.
Ooh, excellent.
Yeah.
I get to know the background of all of them.
That's a good one to
We
go.
will post a link for that on the page if you would, so readers can find that. And actually, for both of you, for Liz too, for Claudia for this book that's coming out, and then Liz for your anthology, please post a link so that people don't have to go looking for that.
Yeah.
So,
Well, we got some questions. Let's start
Excellent.
with Linda again. What life experience have shaped your writing the most? Not the, I added the, because I needed to say that. I don't know why. Most.
Editing on the fly by Dawn. Claudia, you want to take that one first?
What life experiences? Oh my gosh. Everything. I will say most of my life experiences have shaped me. I have, my life has been between like TNT, we know drama, and the Comedy Central all the time, since I was young. If you know my entire history, you will be like, oh wow. If my editor gets a hold of it, it will be like, no, that cannot be possible. That cannot be possible. But it's possible. So that has shaped me. And also, my grandma watched telenovelas every day when I was little, from 4 p.m. till 10 p.m. So even when I was doing homework, I was listening telenovelas from the background. That's a really big experience.
So, okay, I got to ask, because I absolutely loved Jane the Virgin. Did you like Jane the Virgin? Have you watched it?
I watch it. My oldest made me binge watch it with her. It was okay.
Okay. Yeah, just the relationship with the grandma and the telenovelas. I'm like, I loved that. My grandma watched Murder, She Wrote. My grandma did not watch soap operas or telenovelas. She would watch Murder, She Wrote with Angela Lansbury. So that's what I remember doing with her. But yeah, just watching the three of them like lined up on the couch and watching the telenovelas. I just loved that.
I really like the bonding between the family.
Yeah.
Like I really, really liked it. I would say that her relationship with her mom is a lot like my relationship with my mom, but worse. But yeah, I mean, there were things that I was like, oh, okay. I mean, yeah, kind of, but I don't know. That's just, but I mean, it wasn't bad, but it was okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I have years of experience in telenovelas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How about you, Liz?
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that I used to do I did in the Elkridge series is I used to do the author notes of where my inspiration came from for each book. And it was, really going back in life. I remember when my brother died and I wanted to visit that, he was there one moment and then he was gone the next, and what that felt like. And I also wrote some books. One of my college roommate spent many, many years with her mom and helping her and watching her mom pass from cancer. And so I wanted sort of to visit that And so each book was sort of a revisiting of, life. And so working in a hospital, like I remember Doctor's Secret. It was about working in the hospital and rocking babies and newborns. And I was at the hospital one day and a safe haven baby came. And if you don't know what a safe haven baby is, it's a baby that is dropped off at the hospital. A parent has left them, abandoned them, and they become a ward of the hospital, legally a ward of the hospital because they've been dropped off, and what happens there and what that process is. And it was sort of a startling moment for me. And so I wanted to revisit that. And so there's a lot of pieces of me in the book of wanting to visit and imagining what it would be like in the story. So yeah, so a lot of these ideas come from various aspects of my life. Yeah, one of these days I'll write a hot air ballooning book, because we used to get up really early and go fly hot air balloons. My parents own hot air balloons, so there has to be a hot air balloon book in there somewhere. Right?
That would be so okay. Like, are you gonna write like a love scene on a hot air balloon?
Of course. Where Dylann goes.
500 feet in the air. Woohoo! Let's
Do
go.
it. But like, I mean, I'm a little afraid of the shakiness.
Oh no, it'll
That's
swing.
great for an adrenaline
It'll
junkie.
swing and
It'll swing. It'll be great.
it'll swing more than like tip you over and knock you out.
It depends on I guess it depends on how frisky you're getting in the basket of the hot air balloon.
No.
Yeah, it would
You got to remember to, keep the balloon.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't you have to make sure that you keep making the.
So that's a good one for a menage.
Yeah, it's a squeeze.
Reverse harem. You have one doing that while the others are doing it.
Sure, yeah. Reverse harem.
Claudia, you're such a problem solver.
Yes, she is.
You're welcome.
It's just, you're going to have a raven basket for all those people that are going to be in there. Because a Barnes is just those triangular baskets where a raven's the square one. So,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So we have more questions and we're already actually at time, but let's get at least one, maybe two in. So here we go. When you were a young writer, a late bloomer, or were you? It's the wine. Were you a young writer, a late bloomer, or something in between?
Who do you want to go? Want me to go?
You want me to go first?
Yeah, Claudia, go ahead.
I was a young writer. So I started writing since like middle school. Actually, when I came onto Facebook in 2007, I reconnected with a friend, a guy friend, that said, "Hey, are you still writing?" And I'm like, "I'm restarting to write." Why? She's like, "You have so many really good stories. Like you really like," because he's like, you just make like this drama that just keep you wanting to know what's gonna happen next." I'm like, okay. So he was one of those that gave me a little boost of confidence, but I could keep going. I'm like, okay, so this is not a crazy idea. I mean, he liked it, right? And it's a guy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I'm like, so yeah, I was so young, and it was a way to escape. Like, just like books were, like reading was a way to escape. Sometimes just writing was a way for me to escape from all the craziness in the house.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What about you, Liz?
Well, as you guys know, I'm dyslexic. So writing was really scary for me. And in fact, I don't even call myself a writer. I call myself a storyteller, because writing is really hard. But when I got to 40, my husband asked me what was not on my bucket list that I was too afraid to put on my bucket list. And I had this story in my mind since I was 8 years old. And I sort of started describing it to him, and the world was big and complex and had all these creatures in it. And it's basically an epic fantasy. And he's like, you need to write that story. So that was 16 years ago. that I started that journey to write that story. And I'm thinking that, maybe that story needs to be written now, but we'll see.
Have you started writing that story?
Yes. So Dylan's outing me because I also have a pen name called Z Kelley, Zeekelley. And that's my epic fantasy. And yes, I've started writing that story, but it's huge. It's like Game of Thrones or Hobbit meets Stargate or whatever. It's huge. So it's a 6-book series that's going to take me quite a while to write. So
yay. Can't wait.
it is really, really, but from the 8-year-old mind, it's just exploding. So it's going to be, I think, going to be really fun. But you can follow me on Z Kelley and follow along, and you can see the characters because I'm having the characters designed, and there's maps and artwork and everything on the website. So you can follow along with that.
Awesome. That's awesome. Okay, we got one more question, and we're going to mix it up and go to DL Potter. Have any of your heroines been loosely based off yourself or a loved one? Claudia, go.
All
of them.
All of them have either something that's based on me or something that's based on friends or my best friends. Some of them, they are dead, so you might see that they are dead or that they made it, because even though they didn't make it here, I make them making it there.
Yeah.
So I do have books like that. So all of them have something. All my heroes, not so much. I mean, most of them have a little of my husband.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little. They all end up having a little of him. But yeah, most of the heroines have something of me and my friends or friends that are no longer here, or maybe aunts, or depends on the story.
So can I do show of hands who kind of loosely bases a lot of their characters off their husbands? I feel like that's a normal thing for writers, authors.
Okay. I mean, I feel like there's something, like there's always something in every character that you write that has a little piece of you in it. I mean, as a writer, don't you feel like?
Yeah, for sure.
And so then I feel like you said, Claudia, most of my characters in some way, shape, or form have a piece of, I mean, somebody you know, because I mean, you kind of write what you know. And even if you're writing a character that's, a total villain or something, I mean, you still, can't be all bad. I mean, there has to be some, goodness at some point in time, typically in a villain. Like a villain can't be just total, well, I mean, maybe they can, but, most villains, if they're kind of three-dimensional and full characters, they aren't like all completely all evil all the time. And so there has to be something in them that,
part of their humanity comes from you.
Right. And
From
so I feel like
humanity. So yeah.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. Like parents, I have this family, it's called the Brassard family. The parents are like the most amazing, funniest parents in the world. And they are based on parents that I know from a friend of mine, that they are over the top, that you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't need to hear that. I don't even know what sex is yet. What are you talking about, people? Like that. And I met them when obviously I was in middle school. So I put them in there, and my readers have a lot of fun with them. They're like, oh my gosh, I don't think there can be parents like that. I'm like, you haven't met them. I met them.
That's funny. My mom, my very first book that I ever wrote, my mother's like, did you write that, Mother, based off me? I hope not. And I'm like, no, Mom, I didn't. I swear. I didn't base it off you.
Your mom's not watching tonight, Dawn, so you can tell us the truth.
I know. Come on. It wasn't. It was maybe a few things, but
maybe the second one. The second book was totally based on her.
Yeah, the second book. She's not in it.
But don't you feel like there's, like in all the characters you write, I mean, there's something from yourself or someone because it's how, I don't know. Maybe like DL is saying that they've named characters after relatives, but not based on them.
Yeah.
So I would say, like, I wouldn't say that, a whole character is totally based on one person, but like bits and pieces.
Yeah.
Of
And
different
because
people.
it's all like Claudia said, it's like a part of us,
Yeah.
like every book is just a part of us internally, the author that we're giving to you. So the characters are going to be based off of something inside of us, like whether it's a memory or a feeling or an experience or one
Some
time I
of
saw
us
that
write-
guy in the store and he looked like a total DB. You have to be in the middle. Do you know what DB means? You don't want to know.
Don't tell us because you'll get us in trouble.
I will. I'll get us
It is.
kicked off
I know
Facebook if I
it. So you
say.
saw it. Yes, but I had a friend reading one of Dylan's books, and we were hanging out and we were reading and reading one of Dylan's books, and she was laughing out loud, and I said, "What are you laughing about?" And she read me the Passion, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's Dylan."
Yeah.
That would be something Dylan would say. So
Yep.
yes. And she goes, "Is Dylan like what she's writing?" And I was like, "Yes."
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
She's an amazing lady. So she's funny and quirky and all those
Yeah.
wonderful things. So
Yep.
Now I want to know what passage you were talking about.
I think we all do.
That's all right. You save that for next time.
Wait, can we at least know the title?
you're going to put me on the spot on it. It's the one that I sent you, Dylan, that I saw in the library. What did I send you?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. I'm so sorry.
You saw her book in the library?
Yes.
One of the
I live in a place that's this big. I mean, it's little, tiny. And we have it. I live in a retirement community and there's 3 libraries, and I walked in and whoop, there's Dylan's book. And I was like doing the happy dance.
That's so cool.
I don't remember which one it was.
Which book
You
was
sent
it?
me.
I sent you a
Sorry.
picture of it.
I
There's
always go
that one.
scan. Bookstores, libraries, I scan and I'm like looking for so I can snap photos of Dylan's picture books.
It never gets old, you guys. It never gets old seeing your book in a library or on a
I
bookshelf.
bet.
Because
Doesn't-
I'm sure a million other people could tell you who have a lot more books out than I do. So, but yeah, never gets old.
No.
Do we have any other questions tonight, Dawn? Are we gonna wrap
We
it
have
up?
we
We're
have
7
one.
minutes over.
Yeah, we have one. I have 10 minutes. Is my clock wrong?
We started a couple minutes late, and so
Okay.
I'm just looking
Yes.
at yes.
Okay. How about one more? One really quick.
One more quick one. Yep.
It's a speed answer.
Okay.
What attracted you to the genre you write in? And go, Claudia.
I don't know. I started writing fantasy, and then all of a sudden, I had this editor that said you might want to try couples because you write them really well. So I did that. I mean, I would love to continue doing fantasy, but I'm guessing I'm too absorbed by contemporary romance right now. But I don't know if I will be able to go back to what I was starting. But now, yeah, that was it. Like somebody said, you write really well you write couples really well. So
Yeah. Nice.
maybe I do, maybe I don't. Maybe I just believe it's like somebody tried to sell me something. You do this better than that. And I'm like, yeah, of course I did it.
Sorry. So this one,
You found it.
sorry, I found the picture. It was the couple. It says the cowboy says I do.
And that is the one with the beavers, isn't it?
Yeah, and see, here's the bookshelf that I took.
Yes.
And
That
there's
does.
2 of them. Two.
Yes. Cowboy Charming is also there.
Oh, I
Those-
love Cowboy
those are
Charming.
2 different cowboy series.
Yeah.
So thanks, Liz. That was amazing that you found that.
I did. I was like, I was so embarrassed that I didn't remember what it. Like, I was
Well,
like,
that's okay.
cowboy something.
Well, most of my cowboy books do have their cowboy something because they all have cowboy in the title. So that's a safe bet.
So,
What attracted you to the genre you write in, Liz?
I like to write about everyday heroes. And so small town, second chances, everyday heroes is, it's, something in my heart. And, the simplest smile of just smiling or whatever is something really important to me. And so that's what I wanted to write about, is just ordinary people doing extraordinary things.
I love that. That sums it up. That's exactly what you write about.
Yeah.
All right, Dawn, do you have a quick answer? Rapid fire. What is
well, I love cowboys and I love history. So I first started writing in historical, based off just loving to go to museums and history and reading crazy amounts of Westerns. And then, they told me when I first started writing, you write what you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I do. I write what I know, but I'm trying to expand a little bit and test myself. So what about you, Dylan? Quickly, rapid fire.
I think the happy ever afters, I think is what, just the romance, because it doesn't matter what book I'm reading. I mean, I've always been a lifelong avid reader, and the books I like the best are the ones that have the kissing in them, I mean, it's just I don't know. I would always be trying to, I'd be hoping for the characters to end up together. It might be some hero's journey, epic fantasy, and it's like, where's the love interest?
I actually remembered that maybe 2 months ago, I was sitting here thinking about trying to remember the first time I read a romance versus just fiction. And then I realized the feeling more than anything is that, oh my gosh, this is what I've been reading all these other books for, and they didn't have the romance.
Mm-hmm.
And this one does. This one is centered on what I was looking for in the other books. And that's how I started reading romance. So it's because I found that it's not about connection. It's not about romance, sex or anything. It's just about the love.
Oh, yeah, it is.
It's not just the sex. Not just. But it's about the love and the feelings, all the feels you get.
Steamy instead of sweet, Dawn. Although you have some sweet books.
I do, a couple.
Yeah.
I have steamy versions of them though.
Wouldn't that be interesting?
All the bases.
Wouldn't it be interesting if you published them as a steamy and a sweet?
Ooh.
I know some people have done that.
There are people that do that.
That'd be really cool to publish them both. So
Melissa Foster does that. Kendall Ryan does that too.
Okay, so
version, and then they have the sweet version of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I'm saying that how those books where they had the upside down books where one direction was one book and one direction was another book? Couldn't we just put them all together? Wouldn't that be? Oh,
I totally love you. I just wrote that down.
I don't know if people would buy them though, because then it's like if you got it on your bookshelf and you just want the sweet stuff because you don't want your kid at 12 years old like I was raiding your bookshelf and getting all those steamy scenes. You probably don't even want the steamy scenes available or on there. I know exactly what you're saying, but yeah, I wonder. I mean, if you've got a sweet version or a steamy version, you'd probably
I've got that one sweet series that I've been kind of thinking about what to do with. I think I'm going to try it. I think I will.
Dawn's all excited.
I'm so excited about that.
Well, and
you had the best idea, Liz.
It could be a unicorn, So I mean, readers love that, seeing how writers do what they do, and so I'm just thinking it might be an interesting.
I love that.
Could be fun.
Yeah.
And when you do write that book, Dawn, you'll have to come on here and read it.
Yeah.
Both versions.
Both versions. The whole book?
Well, actually, that wouldn't be very exciting because when it got to the steamy part, it would just be closed door.
Bleep.
I'm gonna have this studio set up, and so I will read you both the whole books on audiobook. How about that?
Excellent. We look forward to it.
By the audiobook. Thank you very much.
Right now we're 15 minutes over, so
holy cow.
We should. I know you really have no reason to end early now, because it used to be Dawn just moved from Virginia, which is in the Eastern time zone, to Montana, which is what is that, Mountain?
Yeah, Mountain.
Yeah. So Dawn is like, it's still early. We could talk for hours.
Yeah, it's only 8:15. I'm excited about that. I was like telling my husband, I'm like, I can't wait to get to Montana so I can do romance happy hour at 7.
Right. So yeah,
Dylan's gonna be the late girl.
But that one is the one that really matters.
Yes. Well, and Liz is on the East Coast right now, so we need to let Liz get.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I feel ya. I felt ya for years.
Yeah, I get it.
But we so appreciate both of you being on. Thank you so much for sharing your work with us. It's been an absolute pleasure to spend some time with you. And we do have a giveaway posted on the Romance Happy Hour Facebook page. So, and I did not pull that up to remind people exactly what it is, but Claudia and Liz both are giving away books. And so make sure you go over there. I think you're asking for, to enter the giveaway, all you have to do is give them a quick follow. I think one is on Amazon and one is BookBub. So all the information is in the pinned post on the Romance Happy Hour Facebook page. So be sure to check that out, and we'll leave that open through Sunday night. So
one's going to be a unicorn because it's a paperback, and I'm not going to do paperback. So you'll get one of 5 pre-orders. So there you go.
Awesome.
Okay.
So again, thanks for being with us. And Dawn, you will be on your own next time, because I will be at a conference, like one of the very few writing conferences that they're actually having in person. I'm still planning on going. So if all goes well, I won't be here next time.
Yeah.
But if things end up getting canceled, I mean, I don't know. It seems like we still don't know what's going on. The world is still a very unpredictable place. I know.
Well, shout out to T-Mobile for giving me this internet that has not glitched out on me once.
That's awesome. Yes, Dawn has internet tonight. That's another. There's so much to be grateful for this week, isn't there?
I know there is. Hopefully it's just as grateful for next time when I'm alone.
No kidding. When you're by yourself, that's when it will glitch. All right.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us tonight. We will see you next time. We're always here the second and fourth Thursday of every single month. And we look forward to seeing you next time.
Bye.
Have a good day.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.